It felt like a breakup. It was, I think, the closest thing I've had to a serious breakup. I fully believe that every girl has a friend breakup, and that is our Roman Empire that we think about at least like
Oh
once a
yeah.
day.
Oh yeah.
That
Absolutely.
is, yeah, that is our Roman Empire.
Hey besties, and welcome to our cozy corner of the podcasting world. It's time for another episode of Share a Latte podcast. Here, extraordinary women gather like friends at a coffee shop, sipping on life's challenges and sharing how they've triumphed over every obstacle. I'm your host, Min Sukri, your virtual coffee bestie. I'm here to brew up a heartwarming cup of empowerment, one inspiring story at a time. Imagine us nestled up in a cozy cafe, surrounded by the rich aroma of freshly brewed coffee, all set for a journey that stirs your heart, awakens your mind, and gears you up to tackle any challenge that's thrown your way. In each episode of Share a Latte, remarkable women share their stories about how they've weathered life's storms and emerged wiser, stronger, and more determined. These stories are like a warm embrace for your soul, reminding you that resilience and determination are the secret to success. So grab your favorite brew, get comfy, and get ready to soak in these amazing conversations. You'll discover your own power to turn these tough times into incredible strengths. The Share a Latte podcast sprinkles hope, courage, and the belief that you can not only handle life, but thrive into your day. All right, besties, it's time to embrace those tales of triumphs and get ready for another episode of Share a Latte. Hey there, coffee bestie, and welcome back to another episode of Share a Latte. I'm your host, Min, and if you've been scrolling through TikTok lately, you may have seen a trend where women are asking men how often they think about the Roman Empire. But here's a question for you. What's the female version of the Roman Empire? Well, get ready because we're about to explore that today. In this episode, we're diving into a topic that's as intriguing as it is relatable: best friend breakups. I'm thrilled to have a wonderful guest with us today, Liv Dellanno, a public relations specialist whose journey is as unique and bold as your favorite brew of coffee. Liv's story of self-discovery in a progressive state unfolds in unexpected ways and is filled with lessons we can all savor. Get ready to hear how Liv navigated through heartbreak that not only shaped her future relationships, but left her with life lessons that are just as essential as the morning cup of joe. So grab your favorite mug, settle in, and let's get brewing. Welcome back to Share a Latte. Liv, I'm so excited to have you on. I loved our last conversation. So this conversation has been something I've been wanting to talk about for a while. But before we kick it off too much, why don't you tell us a little bit about your story? Because you have a very interesting one.
Thanks. Thank you so much for having me. So I am from the East Coast. I'm from Boston, or like a suburb outside of Boston. From everyone who's from Massachusetts gets annoyed from being told they're from Boston when they're like, actually, it's a little bit outside. I grew up going to Catholic school my whole life, from kindergarten to college. And that was a really interesting experience as a queer person, and discovering yourself, and also never having any sort of education about sexuality, gender identity, anything like that. That was really an independent research project. But yeah.
I love this independent research project. So let's go back. When did you realize that you weren't like the other girls?
It was co-ed.
Oh, it was co-ed. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like maybe that would have helped me realize things sooner, actually, if it was an all-girl school. But from what I've heard from other people and their experiences, that was helpful for their own journey. I think I had always just felt a little bit just outside of the little bubble that I grew up in terms of the people I went to school with. I was really quiet. I just wanted to read. I just really was shy. I was so quiet that the kids in my class actually thought I was like, I didn't speak English, and they thought I was like an exchange student, which also spoke to the level of diversity that was at my school. I was just tan, and kids just had specific opinions about that.
Did you grow up with the same group of friends this entire time too? Was it the same
So
all from kindergarten to like high school?
So from kindergarten until 8th grade, it was one school. So
Okay.
it was pretty much the same people from K to 8. We had a few people that were new, and it was a really big deal if we had a new kid. And then there was the feeder school to the high school. So
Okay.
it was elementary, middle school, and then the high school. And then that high school got kids from other Catholic schools that were in the area.
Oh, okay. How many kids went to your school?
I think there was probably 40 kids in my grade. And that was like the
small
average.
classes.
Yes, it was really, really small.
So when did you discover yourself?
I think that real discovery happened in high school. I think that was just a situation that happened because I had no idea that being queer was an option because of all of the media that I was consuming and everything that I was surrounded by. I thought there was one option. You're a girl, you end up with a guy, and that's it. And I remember when I was younger, I was just like really not interested in boys, which I know is not shocking. I would just do the queer girl thing of picking a boy at the time who I would have a crush on. And I would just select them and be like, okay, you are the boy that I have a crush on now because I should have one. And the process was more about sophomore year of high school was when I think things started to happen. And I started to realize, oh, hey, I don't think this is normal.
Oh my goodness. So obviously you had friendships at that time. Did you tell your girlfriends? Did you tell anybody?
So I told my friends, I think my senior year in high school. I had a friend from kindergarten until I think freshman year of high school, and she never was a part of that discussion. She was just always confused why I was never a part of the boy crazy conversation. She was like, honestly, this is fine. I don't really want to talk to you about this anyway. And I started telling my friends junior, senior year, which was a very big moment. But at the same time, the people I was hanging out with at that time were very much in the arts and drama department. So it was a lot more acceptable at that point in the people I was hanging out with than the people who I had gone, received sacraments with, went to first communion, went to confirmation training with. I remember in confirmation training, because you have to go to Catholic school, you have to go to Sunday school essentially if you want to be confirmed, even if you go to Catholic school. I remember you had to give a reason why you wanted to be confirmed in the church, and they said you can't say you want to get married in the Catholic Church. And I was just remember being like, I had this feeling of, I don't know if that's an option for me, but I don't want to rock the boat here. I don't want to cause problems. I'll figure this out later.
Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. Wait, you couldn't say that you didn't want to get married in the Catholic Church if you were getting confirmed?
They said, like, you have to give a reason why you want to be confirmed. And they said, don't say that you want to, just because you want to get married in the Catholic Church. You have to have a deeper reason why you want to be confirmed. But to be honest,
and you're like, that's cool. I didn't really want to
I just said, I just want to get married in the church. That's fine.
Oh, interesting. You graduated high school. And how did you start telling a lot more people in your college years?
No, it was actually a regression. Yeah, it was super fun. I went to another Catholic school in college. It was a small liberal arts school in upstate New York. And it wasn't a really religious school. It wasn't as if religion was something that was really pushed on the students there. You didn't have to go to church if you didn't want to. It was really chill. They're a Franciscan school. So Franciscan Catholicism, in my opinion, is the most chill. So that was a really chill environment, but I was playing Division I sports. And so in my mind, when I was going there, I'm like, this is going to be great because I just know from consuming gay culture from Tumblr that, female athletes are queer. A lot of them are queer.
Right.
This was not the case for my team or my sport. It was a very straight, hetero, like very in the box kind of vibe. Everyone came from the same area. Everybody really knew each other. Everyone looked similar. There were a lot of tall blondes there. My mom said, she's like, yeah, I could see who you were because you were like one of the only brunettes on the team. So that was the environment that I was in. And I thought about it because I obviously wanted to meet queer people and I wanted to connect with them. I wanted to date. And I just didn't feel like I could do that when I was around my teammates. And I just heard some certain teammates had said some homophobic things, not to me. Obviously they didn't know, but that did not make me feel like the environment was really safe
for you to be able to open up. And during this time, was this when, and obviously we've had a previous discussion about this, but was this when you had a friendship breakup? And Was it this or was it in high school?
This was in the midst of the friend breakup. So my friend in high school that I was really close with, and she was one of the first people I came out to, and she was really supportive and accepting, which was awesome. She was one of the only friends I had that I could really be myself with. So I leaned on that friendship really heavily during this time when I felt like I couldn't be myself. I had some friends in college who weren't involved in sports at all. So I started to tell them a little bit. But then our sophomore year of college, when things started to go really downhill for me, I got medically disqualified from playing because I got too many concussions. I was just really sad and depressed. It was awful.
Yeah.
My mental health was just all-time low. And that's when we had the kind of big friend breakup. So it was like when it rains, it pours kind of situation.
Right. Was there something that broke the camel's back, so to say?
100%. So it was this one specific instance where I had been wanting to have her come visit me at college for 2 years, essentially. And I had made it work for myself to go down and visit her in Boston, even though I was a Division I athlete. So that's a really demanding schedule. I'm up in New York. It's 3 hours away. And I had made that work multiple times to go down and visit her. And she hadn't put any effort in to come see me. And it's not that she didn't have the resources to do that or the time. It just became apparent to me that this was a choice and this friendship felt really one-sided for me. So
Right.
I was concussed at the time. So I can say that I was maybe not in my right mind. And I just had enough. And I just told her how I felt. And she had some feelings about that. And I was just like, I'm okay with letting go of this friendship because I don't think a friendship should cause this level of anxiety. I shouldn't have to be walking on eggshells, and I should be able to express myself in the way that I want to and say, I don't feel like this is equal. I don't feel like this friendship goes two ways.
How did that change you? Because this happened in some formative years. Like it was during you had built this friendship in high school, and then in your early college years, it broke. What did that look like in those formative years? Did you feel lost?
It felt like a breakup. It was, I think, the closest thing I've had to a serious breakup. My partner now she's had a similar situation with a friend, and we both agree that our friendships that we've had, like female friendships that were really close, they both feel like breakups to us, and they feel like exes. It was a lot. It was very intense friendship. It felt like a relationship, but there were no feelings. I wasn't feeling some kind of way about her. She was straight. She definitely wasn't feeling some kind of way about me, but it was just, it was like an exploding star. It was very fiery and intense, and it shaped me in the way of how I picked my partner and what I was willing and not willing to compromise in a relationship. And I think it also taught me a lot of communication skills and just relationship skills that I've taken into my romantic relationships.
Oh, amazing. So let's talk about that a little bit. What does it look like now? Do you have a group of core friendships? And how much of that what are you implementing to build those relationships? Because those relationships sting. The way that you described it was, I'm sure that everybody's going to resonate with that, or just at least a little bit. So what do those friendships look like now? And are you still holding people at an arm's length?
No, I can say that I am not doing that, which is great. And I will also say that during the time I was going through this friend breakup, which I fully believe that every girl has a friend breakup, and that is our Roman Empire that we think about at least like once a day.
Oh yeah.
That
Absolutely.
is yeah, that is our Roman Empire. So I had a group of friends that were non-athletic people during this friend breakup. They were not involved in athletics at all, which was great because I had a separation of that very constricting world, and then this place that I was able to be myself and have friends that wanted to be around me because they liked me.
Mm-hmm.
And they helped me pick up the pieces from this very tumultuous point in my life where I couldn't play the sport I loved anymore. So I was losing a very big part of my identity. I lost a really close friend, and they pointed out that they were like, hey, this wasn't a really healthy relationship. That's not really normal. And if we had any sort of issues or there was interpersonal situation, like people would just come to me and say, hey, this bothered me. Can we talk about it? Or I would just come to them and say, hey, this bothered me. And I stopped having anxiety of not being able to eat because I was afraid of what they would say if I were in a texting fight. And the friend I was friends with in high school that we had a friend breakup with, we would just have our fights would just get dragged out for so much longer. It should be a day of going back and forth and talking, but it would just drag out into this whole week. She wouldn't respond to me. It was this whole thing. But now I'm happy to say that my friendships are very healthy. They're very two-sided. And I'm very lucky to have such amazing friends and have had people show up for me in my life, especially when I've really needed it.
Absolutely. You said that communication now plays a big role in your life and harvesting and cultivating those friendships. What do you do differently that's different from the breakup? I also love that you described it as the Roman Empire, because we're seeing this all over TikTok right now. And I remember thinking, you know what the Roman Empire is for women? It's the friendship breakups. I don't know a single girl who doesn't think about that girl who broke her heart one day.
It just hurts differently. Like it just hits different than, it really just gets you at your core. In terms of communication, I think that there's a lot less passive aggressiveness because yeah.
Oh man, that hurt me physically. I know exactly what you're talking about, but I'm gonna let you go on.
This is why I felt like a relationship, because I would ask her, hey, is everything okay? She'd be like, no, I'm fine. No, everything's fine. And it was so passive aggressive, and it was this mind game situation. And I stopped playing mind games. I hate playing games. Play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Hated it. So I had allowed a lot of that in my dating life that was really similar to the kind of communication that I had from my ex best friend. And when we friend broke up, I was like, okay, I'm over this. I'm going to stop this. We're not going to do this anymore. I will say I allowed it a little bit more in a different way in my romantic relationships, because I was like, it's fine. It's just fine. It's okay. I'm probably overreacting. I think there was a decent amount of gaslighting that I would do to myself because I refused to believe that the other person was the problem. It was probably me. So that was a lot of unlearning, and trying to perceive slight changes of tone or mood was a very big one. And sometimes it still happens to this day with my partner. She'll be quiet for any number of reasons. She just is done talking. She wants to be quiet. Everyone was not in a chatty mood. And I've had moments where I'm just checking in with her. Are you okay? Are you all right? And she's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, I'm okay. So I think that having a very kind of passive aggressive relationship, especially a friendship, can lead to having to check in with your partner or check in with a friend constantly if you perceive there's a change in your relationship or communication or anything like that.
Oh, it's so true. And I love how you also said that it was a lot of gaslighting towards you, like yourself, because you do that internally, right? You internalize, did I do something wrong? What if I had reacted differently? Would we still be friends? Do you believe that friendship was going to end regardless?
That's a great question. I think that we were also just very different people at that point in our lives and our friendship. And I know that I have changed a lot from the person that I was. And I want to be able to give her the grace of, you were a different person. You were dealing with things that I wasn't dealing with. And you probably had situations that I wasn't privy to. And I like to think that we're both very different people now. And maybe if we had met each other now, things could be different. But I just think that friendship, where we were in our lives then, was not healthy and was not going to continue.
Right. Oh, man. Do you have any regrets?
I wish I stood up for myself a little bit sooner and more.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's my biggest regret, and that I didn't always assume that I was the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think it still takes, romantic or not, and friendship breakups or romantic relationship breakups, it takes two to break up, right? You both have to decide that it's one person may ignite the flame, but you both have to decide to walk away. Whoa.
Yeah. And our fights before that too was always, even if no matter what the situation was, I was always the person to apologize. And I always had to fall on my sword and say sorry and try to make the friendship work again. And it was never the other way around, because we had this fight and I just decided I'm not going to say sorry because I'm not sorry for how I feel. And I don't want to fix it. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely. How's it look? How's it different now with your romantic relationship? Have you brought those like lessons? How does that look in your romantic relationship? Because I don't know, so I can't say. I'm assuming, and this is purely assumption, that queer relationships are similar to heterosexual relationships. I'm also hoping that queer relationships mean that it's a cleaner house, because I've lived with a boy and it's not so clean.
I'd like to say yes, although our apartment right now could use a going over, I'll say. But I'm very lucky to have found my partner. And I think that we have a very healthy relationship and very healthy communication style. I think that we both had similar friend situations. She had told me she was going through her friend breakup her senior year of college, whereas I did it a few years prior. And she was telling, and when we met, she was telling me about her friend. And I told her, I was like, this sounds exactly like the friend that I had when I was in high school. So this is super interesting. And she's like, yeah, it like feels like a relationship. She's like, I feel like she's like my ex. And I think that both of those friends they had controlling aspects of wanting to always be with you, and you weren't allowed, quote unquote, to hang out with other people because that would be seen as a betrayal. So I think that for us both coming out of very similar situations, we understand each other in a very specific way. And we just are very honest with each other. I don't have a poker face. I cannot lie for the life of me. My face doesn't have an inside voice. I'm very expressive. So she always knows what's going on. I always tell her how I'm feeling. We always check in with each other. And there's just no passive aggressive kind of cattiness. And I think also we never want to be ugly to each other. When we fight, we always fight clean.
Oh, ooh. Can you talk to me what fighting clean looks like? Because listen, we all have different ideas of what fighting clean looks like, but what does fighting clean look like for specifically you? Because fights can get ugly and dirty very quickly. We're seeing it in the media with celebrities. We're seeing it on social media with regular people. Yeah. So what does fighting clean look like for you now, especially now that you've gone through? Because it wasn't was it a conversation? First of all, let's go back to your friendship breakup. Was it a conversation that you guys had, or was it a fight?
It was a heated text discussion. So I guess it was like a fight over text. Yeah, we broke up over text. It's fine. Yeah, we had plans for her to come up a specific weekend, and she canceled the day before and claimed that she had a music festival that she forgot about. But it became apparent through context that it was something that she had booked after we had made our plans. So I expressed how I felt about that. And
of course,
I don't remember exactly what was said, but I don't think that what I said was out of pocket. And I was just honest of, I can't do this anymore. Yeah. And she left it as, you're wrong. You're saying all these things and you need to apologize for me. And I feel bad for you. And I was just like, yeah, no, don't text me. It's fine. I can't.
Towards the end, she really gaslit you into.
Oh yeah. It was always like, if someone had pushed back on something that she had done, it was always, I hope you get the help that you need. It was a very specific kind of, I'm going to be mean to you because I think that you need help. Like, you're such a bad friend. You need help. And I was like, currently I'm not doing too hot. Yeah, dude, I need help. I'm not thriving right now. I can't play lacrosse. I lost a huge part of my identity. I can't come out. Yeah, I'm not doing great. Yeah. I didn't need this from you.
No, exactly. And the one person who you felt should have been there because you guys had grown so close. So now what does fighting clean look like? Because we've gone through the fighting. That sounds pretty dirty. And over text message. Did you try calling her through that text message? You try to work it out over the phone? Or were you just like, I'm exhausted by this whole process?
I was so mentally exhausted from
There.
every aspect of being alive at that point that I was like, I don't even care. Like if this has to be this difficult, it's not worth it. This is not working. So I don't even care anymore. There were very few things I cared about at that point. I was just in a very dark hole. But fighting clean now, and fighting clean the way that I think of it with any relationship, platonic or romantic, you just never hit below the belt. You don't bring up old stuff that you've worked through. You don't bring any personal things into there. You don't bring family in. You talk about the situation that's happening right now, and you do not pull from other sources. And when you're fighting, you have the conscious thought of, I do not want to hurt this person.
Yeah. Ooh. Man, your fights must be super clean.
I will say, I think that we fight in a very clean, respectful way. And I think that our fights are more just difficult discussions where I'm bringing up a position of this is how I feel and this is what I think. And then she's bringing that. And I'm like, okay, let's meet in the middle and try to figure out the best way to go forward. I will say that we had, I think, one bad fight because I hate when couples are like, we never fight and everything's perfect. But we had one. Possible. Yeah.
I just, in my head, when couples tell me that, I was like, that's just how? My sister lives out in BC. I see her maybe 4 times a year and we fight. Yeah, we're humans. It happens. Yeah.
Yeah. And we started dating when we were 21. And for context, she turned 27 in May. I'll be 27 in a few days.
You guys have been together for a while. Yay, that's so exciting.
6 years in December. But yeah.
That's so cute. You guys have been together for so long. What feels like, I guess, so, to the rest of the world.
In lesbian time, this is 12 years.
Okay, obviously I have to ask, but you guys have been dating for quite a while. So is it true? Was it the second date you moved in with her? She moved in with you? You brought it up. You said in lesbian years, so now I have to bring up the U-Haul.
It's a fair question. No, we actually didn't. Again, that was pretty crazy. Pretty crazy of us. We were being very unconventionally lesbian. But it also was...
You guys waited to move in together.
We did. Also, we were situationally, I think we get a little too much credit for that because I was still in college. She graduated. So she graduated in 2018. I graduated in 2019. And then she did a gap year and then we moved to Chicago. So I could not move in with her early. Although if it was now when we met, I can't say that I would have waited that long to move in. I was just more situational. Oh, you're moving to Chicago and I'll be there and we'll move in together. Great.
Yeah. Amazing. So how long have you guys been living in Chicago for? Since before the pandemic, 2019.
Yep.
And what does life look like? Because I know you have your own business. Does she have her own business as well?
Yes, she has her own photography business. It's called Unabridged Photo. And she focuses on elopements, micro weddings, like really small, intimate ceremonies. I actually got ordained, so I'm their in-house minister. So that's pretty cool.
I love this. This is so cute.
Yeah.
You're like the poster child for amazing things that are happening in her life. That's adorable.
Yeah. I like second shoot for her sometimes too. But yeah, so she has her own business and she also is a full-time artist and a professor at Columbia College in Chicago.
Oh, talk about a power couple. Because you have your own PR firm.
I do.
Mm-hmm. What made you get into PR?
And the short answer is TikTok. During the pandemic, I was like at home like everyone else. And I didn't perceive the people on the internet as other people because my world was so small that I was like, oh, I can just start making videos and I'm not going to overthink about this and I'm not going to feel perceived. So I started making videos and started actually building a audience and a platform. And that kind of turned into connecting with a musician on the app. And she was really cool. We started a friendship, started talking about content creation and how to reach out to brands. And she knew I had an English background. So she was like, hey, can you help me with an artist bio for me? And maybe you can help me with some press. So I started doing PR by accident. I had no idea what it was. I had no idea what the job title was. And I started working with her once a week. So I'd work 4 10-hour days, my 9 to 5, and then I'd work on Friday with her. And as soon as I started working with her, I was like, this is great. I love this. This is what I was supposed to do. So quit my job 6 months later, started doing PR for musicians full time. And then after about a year and a half of that, I transitioned out of that. And now I work in the commerce D2C affiliate space. So
Right.
it has been a ride.
Oh my gosh, that sounds so exciting. So then you both work from home.
Yeah, she's in the studio a few days a week. She teaches in person. So she's like the outdoor cat and I'm the indoor cat, and I'm just always here. And so she's here sporadically. When she's home, it's like a very exciting day for me.
Okay. I because my next question was going to be, how do you balance this all? And how big is your condo?
We thought about that during COVID. We're like, if we can both be in this apartment, which I'm going to guess it's maybe like between 600 to 800 square feet.
It's not big at all.
Oh no.
I have a one bedroom, 800 square feet. And I live here by myself with a dog. And there are times that I'm like, you're taking up a lot of space, Chihuahua. Time to go. Okay. So I couldn't imagine throwing another person into the mix.
We're like, if we could survive pandemic in this one bedroom, I think that we're good. We also, I will say, there are doors to our bedroom. So if anyone needs alone time, she'll go in there, I'll go in there, just saying, I need alone time. And we'll just close the doors. And then she'll say, give me an hour, give me 2 hours. And then once that's up, I just go in and bother her. And I'm like, hey, I missed you.
Oh, that's cute. During the pandemic, when you guys got into the pandemic, did you have this thought of, what if I don't even like this person that now I'm going to be stuck with for 24 hours a day?
No, not at all. I think that we also had expedited a lot of things that couples who dated a lot longer than us have. Mm-hmm. They checked those boxes a lot later. The first 6 months of our relationship, even the first actually 2 months, she came to visit me in London. I studied abroad and we started dating, I think like 3 weeks before I left. So I asked her, I was like, hey, is this a deal breaker for you? Just so you know, I'm going away for 6 months. So I'm okay with that if you are, but are you okay with that? And obviously she was. So she came to visit me twice. We went to Amsterdam together. So we had traveled to foreign countries, I don't know, 3 months of dating, not even. And I think that relationships are really tested in the customs line. It was just...
We have questions. What happened in the customs line?
It was so
Although
long.
I'm with you. It's so true. Relationships are very tested in the customs line.
It's just a lot of waiting in long lines together. It's a test because you're forced in a very cramped space. So, okay, are we going to have the conversation skills to keep a conversation alive? Are we going to get annoyed? What's going to happen? I just remember that we were just joking around and we were like slapping each other with passports. That's what I remember. And I had a blast. Aww. I was like, this is great. But yeah, I remember when we were traveling, I was thinking of this Bill Murray quote where he said, if you want to test a relationship, travel to a foreign country with somebody and you will know if you guys have the tools to make it or navigate a relationship.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. I'll agree. So everything was expedited. So you guys went through the pandemic already having built a solid foundation and knowing each other a lot because you had traveled together and done all the things together before. That's amazing. I love that. Love that. All right. Any final words for us in regards to surviving the Roman Empire with ex-girlfriends?
There are good friends out there, and there's people that won't give you intense anxiety when you have a disagreement, and you won't believe the world is crumbling, and friendship should not be hard. If it's really difficult and it is one of the most big stressors in your life, take some time to think about that. Like, why is it so stressful? Why is it so hard? Relationships shouldn't feel hard. And if they feel hard, maybe evaluate that.
Yeah.
Do some thinking, do some meditation, do some work, and evaluate if this is serving you anymore. And that I feel like a lot of times people think about, do they want to be with me? Do you want to be with them?
Solid. I'm totally. Yeah. Do you? Oh my gosh. I agree. Okay, Liv, because people are going to want to know, obviously, what you do and find out more about you. I've obviously stalked out her website, which is adorable. But where can people find you and what's the best way to connect with you?
You can find me. I work Instagram is @mystic PRMYSTIK. My personal Instagram is Liv Dellanno, just my name. And yeah, my website, mysticpr.com.
Amazing. And one final question. What is your favorite coffee order?
Probably the cappuccinos that Ashley makes at home.
Oh, that's so cute. I love that she makes you cappuccinos at home. Oh, see, this is why you get into relationships, for somebody else to make you coffee.
I bought her an espresso machine, and it was definitely the gift that keeps on giving because she loves making coffee. I love drinking coffee. So it's like at-home barista. It's great.
Oh, nice. Is she also on TikTok looking through and scrolling and finding out the fun Starbucks dupes that you can make at home?
She is like a coffee purist. She's a cappuccino, black coffee, espresso girly.
Ooh,
No sugar
like good coffee
at all.
At your place.
It's like very like, she's like a European coffee girly.
Ooh, nice. Oh, so you get coffee in its purest form.
I do. It's great.
I'm a little jealous. I won't lie. And there you have it, folks. Another soul-stirring episode of Share a Latte. I want to extend a heartfelt thanks to our incredible guest, Liv, for sharing her inspiring journey of self-discovery through the lens of a best friend breakup. As we've learned, navigating through the tumultuous terrain of friendship breakups can be challenging, but it can also lead to incredible personal growth and the discovery of one's authentic self. Remember, sometimes letting go is the first step to embracing who we truly are. If you enjoyed this episode and want to hear more engaging conversations over a cup of coffee, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And hey, share it with your girlfriends, because in the end, sharing a latte and sharing stories is what brings us all closer together. Until next time, keep sipping on life's lessons, and remember, life is like coffee. It's all about how you make it. If today's episode added a touch of warmth and inspiration to your day, I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button. By doing so, you won't miss out on any future heartwarming journeys we'll embark on together. And hey, if you enjoyed our flavorful conversations and the embrace of this beautiful podcast, why not take a moment to leave a review? Your thoughts and your feedback mean the world to me, and it might even help others discover the magic of Share a Latte. So whether it's a few words or a heartfelt reflection, your review goes a long way in spreading the joy. Life is like a perfectly brewed cup of coffee, a blend of experiences that come together to create something truly remarkable. Just like every bean contributes to unique flavor, every cup in our cup of stories adds a depth of richness to our journey. Until next time, besties, remember you have the power to turn your trials into triumphs and your scars into stars. Keep believing in yourself, keep chasing those dreams, and above all else, keep thriving. This is Min taking her last sip from the Share a Latte podcast, reminding you that life happens and coffee helps.